Hello, everybody. This is Joel Bennett here with John Gall. We're going to talk a little bit about an upcoming event on March 9th in St. Louis in association with the Safety Council of Greater St. Louis. This is a train-the-trainer event, and it really revolves around this quote that you see on the screen. Safety professionals absolutely require resilience in their tools and their trade. They also need it in themselves and each other. So you can join us for this event. I'll talk a little bit more about it at the end by following bit.ly/St. Louis Safe. Now, there's a reason that we want you to come to this. This is a facilitator training. It's being held at the IBEW NECA Service Center on March 9th. You're going to find details about the training in a minute, but the most important thing is why. And this is Bureau of Labor Statistics that show the death rate due to non-medical use of drugs or alcohol, unintentional overdose inside the workplace has increased to almost 300% since 2012. So what we're seeing is workers, many of them in the construction trades, actually overdosing at work. We know that drug testing rates have also increased steadily during the same time. And a lot of this is not marijuana. It's not only opioids, it's a variety of things what shows that drug testing isn't the only solution here. But most importantly, the productivity costs due to opioid use and other substance use has continued to grow. You'll see here on the very bottom, mortality costs between 2015 and 2019 grew from $47 to $74 billion. Next was healthcare costs from 37 to 65. It's that teal bar that shows from 21 to $28 billion in lost productivity. And that's continued to increase at a 6 to 7% year after year. What's most important is there's little money being spent on prevention. And all of it is that fine red bar, which stays at a roughly $1 billion year after year, and most all of that is going to special programs for low income and special needs students. There's nothing for adult education coming out of the federal government, which puts the burden on prevention and education on the employer. So what I'm going to do now is ask John to share a little bit about what he's taken the course. He's going to be helping me out in St. Louis. So John, by the way, I'll let him share a little bit about who he is.
Well, thanks, Joel. I appreciate the opportunity to address those who are listening in and watching this video. I, not unlike many others in the St. Louis region, have been working on a couple of initiatives with regards to mental health. And more often than not, we are hit with a lot of statistics, a lot of history, but not too often do we see what I would call proactive measures to actually address the root cause. And I think the program that you've designed for dealing with stress with regards to resilience and thriving really does address an opportunity for many of us safety professionals to step in and be action oriented. And with that being said, I've gone through the course as an individual and as a train-the-trainer. And, you know, for the past year or so, I've been working in this space of mental health and addiction awareness and suicide prevention. And it keeps coming back to the stressors and the stress people are you know, experiencing in their lives. And of course, they're looking for answers, and they want opportunities of being able to address those stressors and you know, not only cope but move beyond coping and really bouncing back further to the point where they become productive again. And unfortunately, construction is an area, you know, an industrial sector that is experiencing high levels of opioid addiction as well as suicides. And a lot of that has to do with just the nature of the industry, being cyclical, being rough on the body, and I could go on and on with a number of the other issues. But I find the course that you design offers opportunities for people to be exposed to some of those solutions, I think, and action-oriented remedies that they're often searching for. But they do have to take the time and set it aside and really dig into the material, because if and when I offer a 2-hour course to the participants, a few of them come up afterwards and say they want more. And that's great to hear, because those who want more, I point towards the train the trainer, because in my opinion, the more we have with that background, the better we can address, the issues of stress throughout all the industries in our region.
That's great, John. And I'm so glad you have so much experience in this area. What I want to do is tell everyone that while we focused on the substance use problem, to John's point, it really has a lot to do with stress, well-being, lifestyle, and giving people in the trades and the construction just those important hands-on reminders. There's so much talk about statistics, so much theoretical stuff out there. This is a hands-on, practical, pragmatic training. So before we round out here, I want to just take you to the website that you can go visit to learn more about what we're doing here. And then we'll finish it up. So hopefully you can see my screen. Can you see that? Safety Council of Greater St. Louis?
Yes.
So you'll see here, it's called Facilitator Training, Resilience and Thriving, The Secret Power of Stress. Just one day of your time, March 9th, 2020, 8 o'clock to 4 o'clock p.m. Again, we'll go ahead and post the URL. It's at the stlsafety.org, but I will post that information underneath this. So hope we see you. Please don't hesitate to contact either